Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to program in C Sharp. But this is focused specifically on Python developers. So if you learn Python as a first language and you are trying to learn a new language, this video is for you. So in this video though, we are going to be using an online text editor called Replit. So the way you can go to Replit, you have to go to this web or this URL called replit.com forward slash tilde, and it's gonna bring you to this page, and you're gonna see just this page. You can click on create Replit, select your language of choice, and you're gonna get to this page. I'm at this page because you can see here this is main.cs, this is the C sharp page, and this is main.py, this is the Python page. So this tutorial is C sharp for Python developers. So if you look on the other part of the screen, you see like a little website. I built this website a long time ago over the summer to teach C sharp to Python developers, but it didn't actually happen. So I'm gonna be having a YouTube episode where I'm gonna be going through all these core concepts on my YouTube channel where you can follow along. So the goal of this videos are gonna be creating this. Every time you reach a specific concept in the Python programming language, you can go and watch the video and see how you can do it in C sharp. For example, creating variables, and which should be the first part of this tutorial, is on variables. So if you start a C sharp program, if you set this up, this is the first program you see in C sharp. This is one of the difference you see as a Python programmer is that C sharp comes with a boilerplate or this code that is already given to you at the beginning of it. No matter where you start up a C sharp project, you are going to see these boilerplates code. And this is not really all about the tutorial, but I feel like I should explain this to you guys. What this actually means, because at some point you're gonna go way in like to understand the details of these code. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit overview of this. So you see right here, using system. This is our import statement in C sharp, right? So in Python you can say import math, and you can do something like math the squared, or you can use the square root method for math, right? Math is a so you can do, I think, math the squared. I don't know, maybe math the pi. Okay, pi is actually the pi. I don't know. There are actually a bunch of meta. The square root of 4. Okay, yeah. So the square root of 4. This is a method in for the math library that gave you the square root of 4. So that I don't want to go into that Python detail, but the point here is system is a module, is one of those like module in C sharp that instead of using import, they say using system. Is the exact same thing. So what happened is this program is using this system module to sort of get this done, to get this class and this like a method. So I know you guys know what a method is. If you've been doing Python, you have learned out of this. In Python, actually, this is called function, but there's a difference between it, and we will sort of look at it if I go to the function part of this tutorials lesson. But really, method in C sharp, they're just functions, and this is the first ever class you will see in the C sharp program. And in this class, we have our first method, which is called public static void main. And forget about what all this means. The shortest way to say is this is a method that doesn't return anything to the caller. There's a really good difference on how this will be done in Python, but for now, this is how you kind of read things like this in C sharp. But this public here means that this is a public method, which means it can be accessed publicly. And this is one part of object-oriented programming. We have like public method, or public or private variable and stuff like that. But this keyword just means, oh, this is a public method and it's going to be our main method. So all of our program going to run here. And yeah, this is saying console the red line hello world, and this hello world is getting printed out. This is the print statement of C sharp. So before I go into talking about variable, I'm gonna rewrite this program in Python for you to just to show you the difference, right? So in Python, to write something like this, obviously we don't need anything like system, we don't need a module. Python, the only thing we have to do is really, I'm not gonna write the class or anything, but I'm just gonna show you that main method that in Python is def main, and really you can come and call the main function like that, or and obviously the print statement is print hello world, and you can see in C sharp this is being said console the red line. Actually, you see there's a red squiggly line on this thing is because I'm not indenting. So if I indent, obviously gonna go away. But there's one thing about Python is that it's really into indenting. And for C sharp, they use curly braces to separate code and other things like classes and that. So that's one difference you can notice. So if I run this Python code, they're gonna print hello world. So this inner uh this inner method is kind of like the same thing as this, but I'm not going to go into Python class because obviously you guys know how to write a Python class, and this is not really the part of this tutorial. I'm just trying to get a hand on this and make you to understand what this means. Or really, if we want to like do this, we'll have to get a class or a Python class and put in a method in it, which is gonna be a long typing. I'm not gonna start that, but I think you get the point. This me function is really exactly the same as this me method here in C sharp. So with that aside, though, we are going to be learning about variable, and honestly, the most important difference to understand in variable in the two languages is just the way how the variable is being assigned, how data is being assigned to the variable. And there's one thing I learned you can do in C sharp with variable that you can do that in Python, but I haven't tried that out a lot. But I know that C sharp you can do variable or declaration, and you can assign the data later on. But we're gonna be looking at about we're gonna be looking at screen data type. I'm gonna be looking at integer data type, float, and boolean. So we're going to be looking at how do I create a variable with these data types in C sharp. So I'm going to start with a Python code. I think if you know Python, you already know how to do this. So in Python, if you want to create a screen, let's say I want to create a variable and store my name in that variable, I will say name is equal to Joe. And obviously this is really a plain old Python function. And if you are a Python developer, you're gonna be, how do I do this in C sharp? Oh well, in C sharp, the difference here in C sharp, if you are creating a variable, you have to specify the data type. In Python, the interpreter does the sort of like on it really does the specification, and it sort of tells what this is, but you have to tell the language in C sharp what data type you are using before you assign data to it. So I have to say screen name is equal to Joe. This is the only way I'll create this variable. So you have to say the data type, the name of the variable, and you assign this variable or a data or screen, which is screen. And obviously in C sharp, one difference you'll notice that a lot of time in C sharp, your code is going to end with a CMAC column. So how do we do an integer? Let's say I want to store maybe 34. In Python, I'll just say I'll say number int is equal to 34. I don't need to really specify that it's an integer. In C sharp though, I'll have to say int number n is equal to 34. Int number n is equal to 34, right? And if I'm gonna store a float in Python, I don't need to say this is a float. The interpreter does it for me. I just have to say decimal is equal to 3.14, or maybe pi. Yeah, I need to do pi. Pi is equal to 3.14. There's one thing in C sharp though. The screen, the data type, they store information based on bit. Yeah, they have the 32 bit, 64 bit. There's a lot of detail. You can kind of Google that, but in C sharp they use double as to represent float, right? So if I want to store that, I'll say double pi equal 3.14. They also have float, but float is actually used to represent something different other than what is in Python. Yeah, but the takeaway I want you to have is that in Python, float, what is called float in Python is called double in C sharp. So if you are writing your your C sharp code and you want to store or something that require that have to be a decimal, that have to be float, use double. It's the same data type. So another difference I want you to understand is if you're storing like a boolean value, like a true or false value, in Python again, we don't have to specify. If I say it's working, I can say true, or maybe I say false. True, but in C sharp, I have to say boolean. I have to spell it out. Boolean is working, and the true is lowercase, and I have to put semicolon. So, this is really the big difference on using all these four data types to create variable in C sharp. And as you can see, the difference is not really big. The takeaway from this video is that C sharp is very much concerned about you specifying the data type before you gonna assign anything to it. The program has to know what sort of data type, but for Python, the interpreter does it for you. And there's something I usually do in C sharp is that they call that thing declaration. So I can say screen name and I can say semicolon. I can let's say screen school college, and I can come and say college is equal to a Wattberg. This is a valid code in C sharp, I guess maybe. So I think there's a way to do this. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that this should be valid though. College is equal to what, right? This should be valid code. This thing online is being so slow. That's why. Uh, console the red line college. So this should give me what, right? I just want to see that this variable assignment works. So because I want to sort of like show this as an example, and I'm pretty sure that should works just fine. Well, it gave me an error. Apparently, you cannot do that. Okay, that's interesting. Error expected semicolon. I'm pretty sure you cannot do this, but there's a way to do this. Oh my God, this is the semicolon problem. So I'm pretty sure that code I wrote is actually a valid code, but I didn't have a semicolon right here. You guys are already seeing as a as I've been writing a lot of Python lately too, so I forget semicolon quite a bit. But then I can do that thing I was doing just now. I can do screen college. Then I can say college is equal to maybe Wartburg or something. Then I can console the red line on that. This should be valid. Other than that, yeah, this should be valid. I think the reason it was screaming, it was because I didn't put the semicolon here. Obviously, I was typing really fast. but this is a valid code. It should print out Wartburg. If you look really, I'll have to reduce this thing before you see what it prints out. But yeah, that's Wartburg College right there. And that is one something different I know in variable assignment. You can declare this and assign it later on in C sharp, which for me is quite handy. Sometimes you create a variable you don't know what to put in there, and at some point you sort of throw something in there. But I'm not sure if you can just say name like this and move on. This is not valid in Python, not at all. You never try that. But anyways, this you can make research if there's something you can do in Python, but as far as I'm aware right now, it's really not possible. With that being said, this will be the end of the first tutorial video, which is on variable. I'll upload another one and I will continue explaining and really talking about how do you assign other variables like things to store things like array, to store other type of data type. But those, will go into the, if I start doing array in C sharp, which is also in Python, it's called list, we will navigate those different data type. But for now, I want you to understand how to do this. And obviously you can start a write program. I don't want to be writing program of those things because I assume we have written program before in you understand how to use those things, right? Obviously, I'm just going to show you the difference.